but it's given to you to know the mysteries, right? So everybody is such an expert in the problem, but they don't have the math. So the Most High he pulls that the scales from off of our eyes, right? And he says, listen, this is exactly what's going on here, right? Because he said it's given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, right? So when we go back over here and it says, Zechariah 4:10, it says, who with reason despises a day of small things, the things of beginnings, right? So just from the beginning of that, right? Because now we're going through the spiritual math, the language of heaven, right? But he's talking to us, right? You gotta be cognizant of the fact that when there's a conversation going on, the Most High is speaking to his people, our ancestors, us, because he's expecting for us to understand, right? So you got to think about it, because he's saying, who with reason despises a day of small things, beginnings, right? He's talking to us, suggesting we should know that what one might look or see something as a small thing, that is not that at all, right? Because he's speaking to us as if we should know the culture. Listen to me. That's why religion is such a bondage, right? He's speaking to us as if we should understand our culture, right? Like this thing here is not without a history connected to it. That's why he said, who with reason of knowing how I move within the culture, what I have set up for the culture. You should know that, is what he's saying. You should know how your culture operates. So then you have reason, right? The reason is understanding. You have understanding of what's going on here, is what the Most High is saying right here. But religion could never understand that, because they don't understand the cultural implications of everything. Everything we're going through, there's a culture implication. There is a connection to something. There is a math and a language connected to it. It's just not out there by itself where we are shocked, or this is exotic. This is what's going on? What's going on? No, it's been given to us to know. So you can tell by the remnant. You're supposed to be able to tell just by the inference in what's being said here. He said, who with reason? In other words, you should know. You know, that's the inference. You should know. You should know it's connected to something. So he said, who with reason despises the day of small things, or the day of beginnings? Who with reason? And like, you smart enough to understand what's going on here, don't you? Right? So then he goes over here, Proverbs 29:18, he said, where there is no vision, no revelation of the word, the people are unrestrained, right? Where there is no vision, listen. I want to see if you get this here. Listen, where there is no vision, listen, no revelation of the Most High and his word, the people are unrestrained. What do you get out of that statement? I'm going to give you a hint, okay? It's like the Most High is talking to us in the beginning over here, right? And he's saying, who with reason? And like, you should know. Despises the day of small beginnings, right? Or of small things, their beginnings, right? Then he goes over here. Listen, watch. Where there is no vision, and then it becomes specified. Well, what does that mean? No revelation of the Most High and his word, right? The people are unrestrained. He's specifically talking to us. Over here, it's impossible for him to be talking to everybody. And then when you get over here to Proverbs 29:18, he broadens it out. Right? And when he broadens it out, right, he gives us a revelation of what happens. What are some of the consequences that happen when this is not present, right? Where there is no revelation of the Most High and his word, right? Okay, this is what you will see. What are you going to see, Lord? That the people, what people? Whoever are unrestrained. So I'm trying to explain to you guys what he is doing here, right? He is making this distinction over here because he's communicating directly to us. He's not including the world when he says, who with reason despises the day of small things, right? He couldn't be communicating to the world because he wouldn't be expecting the world to understand our culture, right? So he wouldn't say to the world, who with reason, because he already knows they are lost and they're without the information, right? He is speaking to people who he knows understands the culture, understand their God. So then he says, including all that you should know, who with reason, right? Who with you understanding what comes along with your culture would despise a day of small things, because within your culture, I've given you vision. Do you understand what I'm saying? Within your culture, I've given you vision. So how is it that you would despise a day of small things, right? Because you're not encapsulated by quote unquote what might appear to be small, right? What keeps your attention is the vision. Where there's no vision, people are unrestrained or people perish, right? You have vision. So now that you have vision, right? You have my word, you know that this is only a process. When you don't know that, that's why he says, when you don't know the revelation of the Most High and his word, you are unrestrained because of what you don't have, right? You don't have the understanding. You don't know how things work. You don't know the language, right? And you don't know the math. And because you don't know what's going on, you don't know the language, you don't know the math, you become unrestrained, because every action that you have is an action that's based in what you consider the small thing. It's like being in a tight box and you're doing everything to get up out of it, right? There's a resistance. You're fighting. You're unrestrained, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? You're unrestrained because that be the focus of your life. That's why you see in the communities, the violence, everybody's trying to go after the bag because they feel they're in a confined space, a small thing. And what did we say unrestrained was? Uncontrolled, unrestricted, unchecked, unbridled, out of hand, outrageous, uncontrollable, undisciplined, reckless, wild, runaway. You see what I'm saying? What do you see out in the world, in the communities? This is what you see. But the Most High is saying, of course, that's what you're going to see. They don't have a revelation of me or my word. And because it doesn't exist, they could be in what they perceive as a small place because of the condition of the curse. The condition of the curse keeps you confined. It keeps you small. It keeps you oppressed. Is a feeling of the oppression on you. And you feel that, right? The scripture says that power is on the side of the oppressor, right? So you feel the oppression from the oppressor, the small place, and you are unrestrained. You are wild. You're uncontrollable. You're violent. You hate your women. You hate other people who look like you. You're violent. You smoke, you drink, you do anything, because that's what happens when you don't have this relief doctrine. That's what happens when you don't have a revelation of the Most High or his word. In other words, when you don't know who you are, when you're not connected to culture. So all you do is react out of from the small place instead of, right, responding to the vision.